Hello, today we're going to get into the long-term review of the Talaria Sting R, aka the MX4. Now I've had this bike since June of 2023, making this almost 1 year later review. We're going to talk about all the pros, the cons, should you buy this bike, and my overall impressions. Let's get into it. Yeah. So we are in beautiful Fruita, Colorado, right next to Grand Junction off the I-70 to give you guys an idea of where we're at. Now let's just cut to the chase. I know we're all busy. Should you buy this bike? It is currently still $4,500, and at that price in 2024, I still don't think that anything could beat that price for what you get. It's a 60 volt battery at 45 amp hours. We're gonna be talking about the bike fresh out of the box, no upgrades. Yes, there is the E-Ride SS Pro that has slightly better specs than this bike does, but it is about $500 more than this bike. So you gotta take all of that into consideration when purchasing. Now, having this bike over a year, am I disappointed? Am I happy? And I can honestly say, yes, I am very happy. I've been riding this bike every day since we got here to Fruita for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and right out of the box is fantastic. Could there be modifications for my size and body weight? Yes, of course. And we're going to get into all of that right now. Now, just for reference, if you happen to be the same stature as I am 200 pounds, 32-inch inseam, and 6'1". And for me, this bike obviously is not an enduro bike, but I did yesterday ride this bike for almost 5.5 hours, I believe, and my body was ready to get off. That being said, if you are a smaller rider, smaller in stature, this might be okay for you. But if you're my height, my weight, etc., I would need to get a riser bar and a riser on the seat just to feel more upright and more ergonomic. Let's start off with the brakes. A lot of people don't think these brakes are great, but I think they have a really good bite. They are 220 millimeter brake rotors, and if you adjust your calipers and your handles here just right so you can one finger it, I think the bite is pretty good. If you're going really fast, 53 miles per hour, could you use more stopping power? Of course you can. But if you're not stopping in time, that just probably means you're riding above your skill level. The pros of this bike, it is $4,500 in this class. I don't think there is any competition. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but at $4,500, I don't think you can get a better bike. It is the best bang for your buck. Yes, there is the other model, the little baby cousin, the Talaria XXX, which we also have here as well. I've also done videos on that. So go check out my catalog of videos if you want a review on the Talaria XXX. But for me, someone my size, the X is just too small. Unless you want to just stay at that price point of $3,500, then I would suggest getting the MX4. It also has a swappable battery, so you don't have to bring your bike wherever you're at. You can lock it up downstairs, bring your battery upstairs for a charge. It has a pretty long range. Now, if you're riding conservatively at say 15 miles per hour, you could really get 50 to 60. I haven't tested it myself, but just yesterday we went 35 miles on these trails and I had about 20% left battery. So that gives you a rough idea. If you're going to be hitting these mounds, dirt biking all day, taking a lunch break, that's a good 5 hours of riding. Now, if you're really aggressive and blasting through these trails like a bat out of hell, of course you're going to get less battery life. As far as charging, it is in line with the rest of the bikes that charge around this speed. Let's check out this area. Overall, 0 to 100 is about close to 3 hours. Now, if you're doing, let's say 20 to 90%, it's going to be 2 hours of charge, which isn't too bad. Gives you time to rest. And if you want to, like I mentioned, the battery is swappable. So if you want to get another battery to get that all day riding, you want to just ride for 6, 7, 8 hours, come back to camp, grab the other battery, swap it in while you charge the original one, which is a nice option if you are a serious rider that rides quite a bit. You can always swap out the batteries. And of course, there are a lot of aftermarket batteries, bigger batteries, higher voltage for more speed and distance. Now, being a heavier rider, I say like 200 pounds or so, that is going to affect the distance as far as how long you can go on this. If you're good with 3-4 hours of fun rides like this and not get battery anxiety, battery range anxiety, I think you'll be just fine. For me, so far is okay, but if you're gonna get some of those really long distance rides in all day long with, oh, check this out, check him out, he's cruising around on here too, just flooring it. That's awesome. So I think the battery life, battery range is adequate. Could it be better? Of course, everything could be better, right? You want a higher top speed, a longer distance, everything is gonna be up to you and how much money you have. But fresh out of the box, I'm pretty happy with the range and the power. I would love to go highway speeds, but I don't really need to be going highway speeds on this. But if you are a urban dweller, a street assassin on your bike, and you commute with it, of course you're gonna want a longer distance. Let's try and do some donuts. Now, I know some of you in the comments are gonna be like, what is this? This guy can't even ride. And you're right, I've never dirt biked before. I was a very poor mountain biker, so excuse the ride. I'm not thrashing it and hitting these giant jumps and stuff. It's just your average person having fun out here on the dirt, so excuse me. I know you all be fighting for your lives in the comments, telling me to take it off some real off-roading. For me, this is, I'm never even gonna master this before I upgrade to a new bike. It's nice to be out here to test your skill level and to challenge yourself. Try and go faster and faster out here, or try to get up on that wall. Now, as far as some of the cons, let's go ahead and get that out of the way right now. This headlight, it really is for others to see you, not for you to see. If you plan on running at night, this is an immediate upgrade that you need because it's not very bright. Also, the knobs run over some water and some mud sections are going to get caked up immediately and you're going to lose traction. But I will run these tires into the ground before I upgrade to the Shenkos, maybe the 241s or the 244s. Another thing that I will be upgrading is some nicer pedals, some bigger platform ones, and some better spikes. Also, I mentioned because of my height, I'm going to be getting the direct stem mount for some height stability, and I will be getting a riser bar, maybe 3 inches taller. Also, as you can tell, all this caked up mud and dirt, I'm going to be getting a protection right here to protect my rear springs, less cleaning. Also going to be getting a longer tail because mud just gets caked up everywhere. Also, I'm not sure about this. I mean, it just immediately gets caked right here from your front tire, right onto your controller here. And so maybe do something with the fender or something. Also, as I mentioned earlier, it's not an enduro bike. So if you plan on riding for 6-7 hours a day, you're gonna need a bigger battery and probably a better seat. I myself have a bony butt, so after about 4 or 5 hours, I tend to get pretty sore off the seat. I have ridden the cake bike with the Olin suspension, and oh my goodness, it is night and day difference from the Talaria MX4. But it's also a $2,000 difference in just the fork alone. So fresh out of the box, I do think the MX4 is a great buy. It has a relatively big battery. I think the peak power is 8,000 watts. So pretty good startup. 0 to 30 is pretty fast. Once you get up to the top end, you will top out at 53 miles per hour. According to my GPS, that was my top speed. Now, if you're wondering about upgradability, expandability, I mean, it's almost, the aftermarket is almost caught up to the Sur-Ron at this point. You can get different batteries, different forks, different tires, different rotors, different brakes, different pedals. The support mount, brace here, you can get beefier ones. You could really trick out your bike, making it a $10,000-$15,000 e-bike if you want to. But for me, $4,500 is my maximum I want to spend. Maybe a few $100s just for more ergonomics. I'm thinking about getting the seat riser. It literally extends this whole thing up by a few inches, and then using some hardware to up the seat a little bit, because it does kind of feel like your crotch is slamming into what would be the fuel tank here. Other than the ergonomics aspect, for me, I don't think I'm going to be upgrading it. Besides the pedals, handlebars, longer tail here, and thicker grips. I'm not going to mess with the power at all, getting a new battery or controller. That's $3,000-$4,000, almost the cost of the entire bike itself. So I'm not going to do that. Power's adequate for me. Of course, I would like more power, more range, but who wouldn't? That's what I plan on doing. Not too much. It's only a few $100 upgrade, and that's just for ergonomics, because if I'm out here riding for 5 hours at a time, my body wants a taller setup. Also, maybe with the tax return, I will get different wheel sets, a 21-inch up front and the 18 in the back, so you are a little bit taller and more ergonomic, upright feeling, and easier to roll over items. That's probably the maximum I'll do, maybe $1,000 total in here, bringing it up to a grand total of $5,500. But I'm poor, so those upgrades are going to come little by little. If you're interested, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Talaria e-bike content. So if you go dollar for dollar, I think the MX4 is a great value in my opinion. Whoa. Yeah, buddy, lots of fun here, and a lot of people ride these on the road, which is fine, but I do think out here is where it thrives. So that's gonna do it for the long-term review of the Talaria Sting R MX4. Real nice bike alongside the XXX that you see here. We have about 10 minutes left of sunlight, so we're gonna rip around a few more times here and head back to camp. Thank you so much for watching. The last words that I'm gonna leave you with: at $4,500 at this price point and for what you get, I don't think the Sting R can be beat again at this price point. Yes, there are better bikes, but they are thousands of dollars more. I'm okay with spending $4,500, and that's all. Fresh out of the box, this bike does it all, I think, in my humble opinion. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and until next time, peace.